So I've been asked to give a bit of a taste of what the Royal Engineers Museum collection holds with regards to D-Day and the Overlord operations of 1944, obviously one of the most important military operations in British history. I'm going to, throughout the talk, use the term museum as a catch-all for the whole of the collection that we look after here, and that includes archives, books, objects, weapons. So to start at the beginning, how do we have the items in the collection that we have? How have they found their way to Chatham? Essentially, we have 4 different methods of collecting. There's official. This is rare, as the museum has never been an official place of deposit and is therefore not on the listings for material when released from the Ministry of Defence or the War Office. However, the Corps often finds a way of getting official material to the museum. So we do have some official material in terms of official reports and plans. The second way that the museum collects material is through purchase. It's very rare for us to purchase a collection, mainly because of the amount and the quality of material that we get donated. This brings us on to the third way of collecting material for the museum, and that is through bequests and personal donations, and essentially they amount to the same thing, but in-person gifts are generally preferred as it gives us an opportunity to talk to the donor about the material. We currently don't undertake much active or targeted collecting, but collecting material is one of the ways in which we meet our first charitable purpose, that of preserving the heritage of the Corps. However, the museum does not just preserve material for its own sake. It preserves so that we may remember and learn from the past. We therefore have a collecting policy that asks specific questions of an item before it is accepted. We have to have a look at whether we hold similar material, whether the item enhances the historic record, our knowledge and understanding of the past, and what condition is it in. We do have a really diverse variety of personal memorabilia and medals. The slide here shows an iconic Fairbairn Sykes fighting knife owned by Sapper William Gill of the 3rd Parachute Squadron, who was killed in action at Ronville on the 13th of June in 1944, and this was given by his brother. We also have the commercially produced Normandy medal owned by Sapper Cyril Johnson, and again that's an example of one type of medal, but we hold a huge number of other campaign medals won or awarded to Royal Engineers during the whole of the war. For the researcher, however, who has time to dig into records and read the material that we hold, the experiences of individuals taking part in Normandy campaign are captured in their own words and thoughts. We hold hundreds or thousands of diaries, memoirs and letters of sappers. Sad to say, few cover the actual D-Day landings, but those that do all add to our understanding. One of the most significant but least known or used parts of the Corps archive is the photography collection. This is a real treasure trove of Corps history dating back to the 1840s and largely unpublished. These slides show just a brief selection of a series of fantastic photographs taken by Burke and Horwood serving with 8-2 Assault Squadron. This photograph obviously shows Avrys parked up in a French town or village. But probably my favourite is this of dinner in a Normandy barn. Horwood is a really interesting man, having previously been an architect before volunteering in 1943, aged 31. For me, however, it is often the sketches and drawings in the collection that really bring the past to life in a way that photographs can sometimes fail to do. These drawings are also from the Horwood collection. This is the scene at Jig Green sector, and you can see really clearly the details that include men in the water, a bridge layer disembarking and the German beach defences. And then this really dramatic and dynamic drawing showing a night attack at Fontenoy village on the 28th of June. Equal to these is a series of very quickly painted watercolour sketches by Sapper Frank Bryson of 179 Field Company. Bryson was one of the Royal Engineers to create a replica statue of Eros at the road junction at the RE depot of Tersville. This shows the soldiers at rest, which I think is whilst quite loosely painted and not very detailed, is really very atmospheric. There is no doubt, however, that the subject that takes up the largest part of not just the Normandy collection, but probably the whole of the World War II collection, is the Melbourne Harbours. Those visiting the museum will be aware of the fantastic scale models that we have on display, produced by Bassett Loeb, who is famous for building model railways. These precise working models were used in briefings to the War Cabinet and Allied commanders and were gifted to the Corps Museum by the Transportation Directorate in 1947. As I said, we have a huge amount of material relating to Melbourne Harbour, both personal and official. Accounts on disembarking through the harbour, notes on construction by men like Lieutenant Colonel William Cormie, who landed with the construction force on D-Day, notes from talks given by veterans and key figures after the war, play scripts from the harbour called Mulberry, poems, a plaster relief of the Armitage Memorial, even a jerry can from the jeep that Brigadier Mervyn Waters used on Sword Beach during construction. We were really excited last year to be able to buy a fantastic collection relating to Colonel Vassall Steer Webster, Deputy Director of Experimental Engineering and a member of the principal design team for the Mulberry Harbours, including correspondence with Churchill, Eisenhower and Mountbatten, 150 photographs, medals and commemorative silver. This collection really is a strong addition to the museum and archive. The museum and its fantastic supporters raised £55,000 in just over a month for the purchase of this collection, which ultimately cost £30,000. The remainder of the funds raised will be used for conservation of Mulberry Harbour archives. Some of the most significant material we hold on Mulberry Harbour are an estimated 7,000 blueprints, plans and drawings that found their way to the library after the war. Sadly, the collection has been stored in a terribly inappropriate way and largely forgotten until about 15 years ago. As you can see, it has been very tightly packed. The ends of many of the rolls have been crushed and therefore unrolling it can cause physical damage. Because of this, the collection has not been listed or catalogued. We really do not know what is held within, and it is truly an untapped resource. We're currently fundraising for assistance towards the conservation of this unique collection of engineering history to allow us to open up and catalogue the bundles of plans, digitise them so they're accessible to all, clean and stabilise the plans and repack them all into more appropriate material. All of this will help us to ensure that they are used finally, researched from and have a longevity that will go on for the future. We currently have a target of £150,000 for essential conservation work of this material, and thanks to a fantastic public contribution in 2020, we already have just over 30,000 raised for this target. If you're interested in giving to this campaign, please do visit the museum's site on Just Giving and read all about the work that we're doing for it and make your donation there. Thank you.